Hey you guys, welcome to my very last bump date. Today is officially our due date. I'm 40 weeks and I will not be filming another bump date or pregnancy update at this point, so this is the last one. The next time you see me, you will probably see me with a baby, so I am so excited about that. Hopefully he will come on his own this week, but we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and kind of get started with what he weighs and what is going on based on the app. So based on the What to Expect app, today, 40 weeks exactly, he is the size of a jackfruit, and I have seen that. They look pretty big. Last week it said watermelon, so he's a watermelon right now. Of course, we don't really know how big he is at this point. I figure he will be somewhere around 7 pounds. That is just based on how big I was and how big Aaron was when we were newborns. So today at 40 weeks, the last update I gave you guys was at 35 weeks. Not a ton has changed. At around 37 or 38 weeks, I had him start to measure my cervix and check for dilation. It was my 36-week appointment, I believe, because I had my strep B test performed, which all came back clear, and I remember him saying, "Do you want me to go ahead and check for dilation? That is totally up to you." I said, "Sure, why not? You're already down there, just go ahead and check." So he checked, and at that time I was 1 centimeter and about 50% effaced. So I thought that was great for being 36, almost 37 weeks. I didn't have another appointment until 38 weeks. And at that appointment, he said I was 1, almost a 2, and I was a little bit more thinned than the last appointment. But he didn't tell me an exact percentage. I don't remember that. But at my last appointment, 39 weeks, I was 39 weeks and 2 days. He said I was definitely a 3 centimeters, almost 4. He said that he could stretch it to a 4 and that I was 80% effaced. So to me that was insane, because that is a lot more than what I've heard people who have went into labor spontaneously do. So that's exciting, and that's kind of scary and disappointing at the same time, because I'm thinking, why am I still pregnant if I've already dilated that much? But you guys know that I want to do things as naturally as possible, so the start to that would be to let him come on his own time and let labor happen spontaneously. And I'm hoping that's a good sign that I will have no issues dilating when the time comes, and things will progress fairly quickly. I don't want them to progress so quickly that I don't make it to the hospital, because I do have an hour-and-a-half or more drive to get to our hospital, but I do want things to not stall, and I really want to give birth vaginally more than anything. That is my #1 goal. I really don't want a C-section. That's kind of like the biggest goal that I have. So as long as I can dilate, as long as I'm dilating on my own, that's our goal. So at my last appointment, really the last few appointments have been very basic. He does checks his heart rate on the Doppler, asks me if anything's going on, always checks my urine for protein, my blood pressure, and that's basically it. He says, this is what we're going to do at the next appointment, which is usually the same thing. But at my last appointment at 39 weeks, he did mention and bring up the fact that we're coming down to the end, and we need to start talking about, if things don't happen on their own, what would be our induction date. So that kind of got me disappointed, because I really don't want to think that way. I don't want to plan for that, but I know that I have to. At this point, we did not set a date or make any plans. He just said, talk to your husband, get back with me. We'll talk about it at the next appointment. So my next appointment is Monday. Today is Saturday, and I will be 40 plus 2. And he said, we really need to decide at that appointment what day, and kind of just go ahead and have it scheduled, because he is going to be out of town when I would be at the end of 41 weeks going into 42 weeks, and that is our cutoff date. He said he will not let me go past 42 and 2 days. And I have to make the decision if I want to go ahead and be induced, knowing that he is going to be the doctor there and that he's going to be the one doing the induction, or do I wait and go a few more days and be induced by a doctor that I've never seen, because at this point I've only seen my doctor the entire time. I've not even laid eyes on another one, and I know that he is very on board with my birth plan and with the desires, and he knows what I want, and he's very lenient and hands-off and good with that. And I'm so afraid that another doctor is going to make different decisions than he would and might push me into something that I don't feel comfortable with. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to him about that Monday, and you know, when I do my birth story and my labor vlog, you guys will see. I'll talk about, you know, how it goes down. So hopefully that won't be an issue. Hopefully he will come spontaneously. He will come in the next couple of days, would be great, and he will be delivered by the doctor that I want him to be delivered by. So we will see how that all goes, but you know, it could play out a different way. Also on Monday, we have already talked about doing the membrane sweep. I very much considered it last week, and in the moment of being there at the doctor's office, I really thought about asking him to do it, but I wanted to give us one more week to see what happened. If I don't go by my next appointment, I'm definitely going to get a membrane sweep. I've done a little bit more research since last week, and I'll talk to him more about it, but my understanding is that if your body's ready, it will help. If it's not, it won't do anything. So hopefully my body is ready. Hopefully he just needs a little push, a little bit of a jump start, and since that is a more natural approach, then I'm totally okay with that, because I want to avoid an induction if I can. As far as the way I've been feeling, I feel about the same. I feel very large. I will say that I can tell he dropped since my last update, because I am not having as hard of a time breathing. I'm still out of breath just sitting here talking, but he doesn't feel so high up, and it also feels like I have, I don't want to say a bowling ball, but it feels like you have something that you have stuck between your legs. That's the only way I know how to explain it. You have something inside of you and you can feel the pressure. So he's definitely dropped, but I don't necessarily think that means anything. Oh, and I will say that at my first appointment that I was checked, at the 36-week appointment, when he checked me, I bled quite a bit. And I was actually afraid. It's the very first time I've called the doctor's office or labor and delivery in the middle of the night. I've not had any scares so far, and that one kind of scared me. When he checked me that day, I had a little bit of spotting, which I expected, but then at about 1 a.m. when I went to the bathroom, I had bright red blood, and it was heavier spotting, I'll say it that way. It almost reminded me of starting my period, and I kind of let it go since he said, you know, I could spot. But then when I went to the bathroom a few hours later, there was even more, and there was a couple of small clots. So that scared me, and I called labor and delivery because it was about 5 or 6 a.m. and I knew his office was closed, and they said more than likely it was just from being checked. It was the first time, you know, my cervix had really been checked. And no, I take that back. It wasn't the first time. It was at my 38-week appointment, because the first time I spotted and nothing really happened. It was very light and no concerns. And that's why it scared me, because it was my second time getting checked and I had started bleeding. So I was afraid that something was happening. And the nurse at labor and delivery said more than likely, you know, it's just where you're thinned out even more and you have a softer cervix, and it was just where you slept at night. You know, it was sitting there for hours and then kind of clotted up a little bit. Luckily, after I called her and after I'd had those clots, it stopped. I didn't have any more bright red. Hey girl. But luckily after that it stopped, and I also called his office after they opened and just kind of let him know, and he said the same thing, or his nurse told me the same thing. Nothing to worry about, probably just where I was nice and soft and got checked, and that you know, it had just sat there for a few hours in between going to the bathroom. And I have not had any issues since. I didn't really have any cramping at that time, nothing else. So with my last check, I don't even think I spotted. It was really weird. So each time I've had something different, but I will say that one scared me. That was my first true scare, but he was moving, he was kicking like he always does, and I wasn't having any other symptoms. But as far as my other symptoms, I just cannot sleep, and that's about it. I have a lot of heartburn still. I pretty much have to take a Zantac at least once a day. I just don't sleep at all very well. I have to get up and go to the bathroom multiple times a night. I am very uncomfortable in every single position, and I'm just kind of ready for him to be born. So I will enjoy it and continue enjoying it. I've had a very, very easy, blessed pregnancy this entire time, and I'm just waiting and ready. So we are ready at any moment for this little guy to come, and I hope that you guys keep us in your prayers and that everything goes smoothly and easily and hopefully just the way we dream it. And he will be here soon. So I will leave you guys with my very last bump shot in my shirt that I have counted down to. We are officially out of numbers. So if you guys want to continue following our journey and see what goes on with our newborn and labor and delivery, then be sure to subscribe. I will put a little click link here, and you guys can just click on that picture and subscribe to my channel to follow. So thanks again for watching. Bye.